Step 1. First, choose a form with the appropriate sign. 3r squared plus 4r minus 4. Step 1, GCF equals 1. But now my A equals 3, my B equals 4, and my C equals -4. Remember I said that last method was only for A equals 1. When A does not equal 1, then things change. Not a lot. Still, first step is find the greatest common factor. Second step is I want to find two numbers that multiply together to give me A times C, and A times C is -12. Same, M plus N equals B, and B equals 4. I haven't changed anything yet, have I? I do my table, M, N, M plus N. 1 and 12. 2 and 6. 3 and 4. The next one will be 4 times 3. I already have 3 times 4. I'm good. AC is -12. I'll make this side negative. And this gives me 11, 4, and 1. These are the numbers that I need. -12 and 4. Here's where it changes. Step 3. What I need to do is keep the first the same. I'm going to keep the last the same. And I'm going to change this 4r into -2r plus 6r. Doesn't this equal 4r? And it comes from these two numbers. Now, how many terms do I have?
4.
And what do I do when I have 4 terms? I group the first two together. I always have a plus between them. I group the second two together. In the first group, what is my greatest common factor? R. That gives me 3r minus 2. My second group, what's my greatest common factor?
2.
And then this gives me 3r minus 2. Now, what do? I need to look and see if I have a greatest common factor down here. Do I have a greatest common factor? It's 3r minus 2. Don't they have 3r minus 2 in common? And then, what do I have left? R plus 2. That is what goes here. That's the factorization. Notice it's a little different. I have to break it down into factor by grouping. But up here, they're looking for this. I have plus minus. So I have, the top is plus plus. I have plus minus. The middle is plus minus. The bottom is minus minus. I have plus, and I'm going to put a 6 here because that's the plus term. And this is going to be a 2 because that's my minus number. And then I have minus 4. 3r squared plus 6r minus 2r minus 4. First step, GCF. Do I have anything in common between all three?
No, 1.
1. Second step, I want to find two numbers. When I multiply them together, equals A times C. A times C is 10 times 3 is 30. When I add them together, it equals b, and b is equal to negative 17. I make my table, m, n, m plus n. 30, 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, not 4, 5 times 6, and that's it. The next one is 6. It would be 6 times 5, so I'm done. If I add these, let's add them. We get 31, 17, 13, and 11. It has to be this one, but it's not negative. What do I need to do to fix this? This is true, but this has a negative sign. Uh-oh, what do I do?
Just make it positive.
I can't.
You leave it like that?
Nope. I have to make both of these things work. I know m times n is positive 30, but I can see that m plus n is not equal to negative 17. A positive times a positive is positive. What else makes positive?
A negative multiplied by a negative.
Look, if I make that negative, and now if I add two negative numbers, I get a negative. Third step. I write my first term. I write my last term. And I separate my negative 17 NP into these two values. Minus 2 NP minus 15 NP. And then I have plus 3p squared. Now I have to factor by grouping. I'm going to group the first two numbers together. Remember I said always put a positive between them, didn't I?
Yes.
In the first group, what's my greatest common factor?
2.
Something more. Letters also. Don't forget letters.
N.
2n. And then this would be 5n minus p, wouldn't it? Plus, I don't want that negative inside that parentheses as the leading term. So I'm going to factor out the negative. And what else is my greatest common factor?
3p.
We get 5n minus p. What's my greatest common factor? 5n minus p. It's common to both terms. Then times 2n plus minus, which is really just minus 3p. And that's it.